Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Stat Pearson, and today I'm joined by the freest and tallest of all men. Till Hill showed up apparently. Uh, Corey Troy of House VA,
How's it going?
and of course our mainstay legend, the Wakandan ambassador to United States military, infiltrator of Area 51, Michael Dat Hill.
It's been a whole month and I still haven't seen another trailer for No More Heroes 3.
Look forward to Tokyo Game Show. And to subside your anger, invest heavily in either A, Teppen, B, Fire Emblem Three Houses, 3, or C, Astro Chain. Because that's what I'm going to do until Final Fantasy gets here. Alright, today's topics are a little bit different. Although we are called Token Games, we mainly focus more on, pop culture in general. So that doesn't always mean games. Sometimes it means watching and reading entertaining things. So you already know where this place is going today. All right, topic one, the age-old battle. Netflix versus Hulu. Is one better than the other? Why or why not? Number two, how many subscriptions is too many? With the realization that HBO, Showtime, Netflix, Hulu, and now Disney, as well as YouTube, all have their own system, how do you figure out where the limit is, especially since shows change area codes, as well as sometimes we'll have an entire season on one location, but then an entire show with every season on a completely different platform? That's something that personally frustrates me, but I'll wait till it's my turn. Topic 3, digital versus physical books and graphic novels. Although renting is not a foreign concept given the invention of the library, when it comes to digital, they can easily be stored offline after being purchased. However, some digital comic book companies and websites choose to wait half a year to a full year before they incorporate material onto their websites as to not disturb the delicate balance between stores physically and a digital purchase. However, I am wondering which do you think is better purchasing option and why a physical comic which can easily sell out or dramatically increase in price just because you were born too late to get it when it was new, or digital, but you may forever be behind depending on the company. Now, topic 4, it is well documented that video game industry, it made a ministry typo. Video game industry has tried to go out of its way to make sure that the video game players do not own their copies of games, and be it digital or physical, whether it's digital or physical. However, there are countries where physically owning the media has been allowed, or rather the industry has not been able to fight it. Do you think that we as players and connoisseurs of digital hobby in America have a fighting chance to have laws altered so that we also own the game we purchase physically and digitally? Or are we doomed to only being considered to be licensed holders? All right, Hill, you going first.
Alright. Netflix or Hulu? I prefer Netflix because right now they have a decent amount of original stuff. Granted, it can be iffy on your taste because Voltron was good, but She-Ra was okay. And then they have their air quote exclusive animes. You can't afford this Toblerone. You don't deserve this big Toblerone. While Hulu is just like, let's cycle through all the shows everybody semi wants to see, like fucking Sunny in Philadelphia, and just like really, really old anime, which most of the time people go to Crunchyroll for that. Now, the whole how much is too much? First off, it would be too much if you like go over six, because you probably whatever you're using it on, you are probably also paying for just to use the internet in general and whatever other games and stuff you had. So going over like five is a bit much. Like having three is all right. Now the three you choose also determines on their service. Like I'm done with Hulu because fucking there's the standard pay thing where you get one ad, and then there's another pay thing where you get no ads. Well, Netflix is just like you pay, you get no ads, easy. Just like with Crunchyroll, I'm like, why can't the other ones be like that? Why would that be so fucking retarded? I also think you're dumb for trying to go for something over fucking 15
Yeah, I think
months.
they're divided standard without Showtime and HBO. Then they have with Showtime and HBO. Then they have no commercials. Then they have no commercials with Showtime HBO. Nah, motherfucker, you stop that shit. That's too many platforms and tiers which change so little.
Now, number three, I prefer digital. Trust me, I get it, you neckbeard fucks who think that your first Superman comic is the fucking bee's knees and that it should be fucking plastered forever. There are still people coming into this world who have never heard of Superman yet. You need to calm the fuck down and let them read the history. Because you want to fucking yell at them saying they were fucking born too late and you don't know this, that, and the other, but you're not willing to share the information so they can get caught up because you think this is such a high collectible, but its only value is valued at the other person's perspective.
Thank
Because
you.
you show me like a Detective Comics one, it's like, oh cool, it's fucking Adam West fucking Batman. Like, oh cool. I've seen memes on that. That's like $2. That's like $5 worth to me. Okay, it's not like your fucking $2,000 whatever the fuck you want to fucking claim it as. Like, who's been touching us? Shut up, okay? Same thing like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic, like fucking $500 for a single card. Fuck you. No. Oh yeah. Topic four. Do we have a fighting chance on getting an actual title for the game like we do for titles for our cars? I do not see that happening anytime because we don't have enough power or force, or our minds are scattered on what we want to do with said power because they have a lot of money and a controlled focus on what they want to keep. They want to keep ownership of the games and not give us any form of licensing or saying we bought the game. And they also want to keep their shitty DLC claims like it's a fucking thing you pay 25 cents for in a store machine. You turn the dial. So right now, companies are very greedy. They're not just gonna make it easy for us to turn the tide to get the laws right. Because number three, the politicians are old and dumb, and they don't play games as much as the people who are complaining about the games do. Because it's like we heard the game is bad, and they'll just like they're wrong. It's like, oh okay.
That is disturbingly accurate though. That is
That's it for me.
disturbingly accurate though. Anyways, all right, Corey, bring up the middle.
All right. What was it? Can you hear me fine?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Cool, just making sure. So, one second, just gonna change my hotkey. So Hulu versus Netflix. That's a bit tough for me because I actually enjoy some of the shows on Netflix on Hulu that you can only watch like Lethal Weapon. I enjoyed that show before it got canceled. Uh, and The Rookie. There's only like two shows I enjoyed on Hulu, which on Netflix. There's not a lot that I watch unless it's like an exclusive like Castlevania or Gritzico. So I'm not crazy about either or, but I do own both. Um, I don't know. I don't prefer one over the other. Topic two. I gotta say, three I think is the max on the amount of subscriptions you should have because not every single streaming platform has everything you want to watch. Like Funimation has an app for anime, Netflix isn't going to have all the anime that you want to watch. And Funimation, I mean, doesn't own all the licenses to everything. So some of them are going to have things that you want that you can't have on the other. I think the Disney one, if you like Disney, is probably going to be a thing that you're going to need because Disney's not going to be on anything besides its own platform in the future, unless you watch like the Disney Channel or something. I feel like 3 is a decent amount of subscriptions, but unless you have like, if you don't have cable, I would say 3's fine. Topic 3: digital versus physical. I don't collect comic books, except for like the free comic book day. I think digital would probably be the better choice because I could easily just pull up my phone, and if I guess like I'm assuming there's an app that I can get for comic books, or like just any other book that I want to read. I could easily just pull them all up on my phone and read them, where I would have to dig through a pile of books and just pull out each one. I'm like, okay, here's the one I wanted to read. Here's Detective Comics #1. Like, I'd rather just be able to like search it on my phone and then read it. I think digital would just be better for that kind of thing. And for topic 4, I don't know. That's hard. The only like circumstance I can think of that this has affected me was when Scott Pilgrim versus the World got taken off the PlayStation Network. Like I paid like $20 for that game, and now I can't access it. So my $20 is just. I mean, I got my use out of the game, but now like.
Wait. You can't access it?
No, they took it off the store like years ago.
No, I mean, but can you still play it from your PS3?
Oh, I mean, I don't have it on my PS3 anymore. We've gone through multiple PS3s in my household, and they're all over the place.
See, is what I tell motherfuckers. Doesn't matter how old your system is. If you got your shit, keep it on your system downloaded if you know it's a temporary and fleeting experience. I got Scott Pilgrim, and I love the shit out of that.
Scott Pilgrim is so good.
And there's a secret character. Like, I didn't realize how detailed they were with it. I don't know too many beat-em-ups where the characters gain new moves over time because, well, beat-em-ups pretty much died with the exception of fucking Devil May Cry. I don't know what Ninja Gaiden situation is. And Bayonetta.
I know some people that don't like that game because they don't like that you don't have all the options from the get-go for, like, what is a beat-em-up.
Oh, those people
Just use
are
the
called
secret code to get the heart sword.
those people are called idiots because idiots don't seem to understand that a video game has to have challenge and progression to keep you entertained. It's the most basic shit ever. Beat 'em ups back in the day didn't have more moves because the characters and the animation would cost too much. Now we in the 3D era, it's a little bit easier to produce the moves. And you mad? Fuck out of here.
Do you
Filthy ingrates.
Do you think Streets of Rage 4 will have exclusive, like, not exclusive,
more moves as you level up in game? There's a rumor from the people who've played the beta builds that it is, but they lock you out of it in the demos. But to be fair, in this day and age, they could also just as easily add more characters over time. I've got nothing against a guest star DLC that includes like the Double Dragons or Final Fight characters or hell, even Street Fighter characters. The potential for beat 'em up crossovers in that game is stupid high.
Didn't the Street Fighter characters cross over into Power Rangers, beat 'em up, whatever?
Chun-Li, Cammy, and I think Cammy. Chun-Li I know for sure, and Ryu I know for sure. I'm not sure about Cammy though.
What was it? Scott Pilgrim had Wallace as a DLC character like 2 years after the game came out. That was a little weird. But for topic 4, honestly, I don't know. I think Kale put it best. I mean, I don't know if there's anything we could do, and the people that are in the government trying to affect it's. I don't know. That's my answer.
Okay. Well, I guess that leaves me to bring up the rear. All right. I'm going to just say right now, unfortunately, and I stress the term unfortunately, I think Hulu is better, even though I watch Netflix 2 to 3 times as much. I'm going to tell you why. At no point in time in the creation of any show, whether it's an anime, whether it's a fucking Netflix original, or it's a live action show, even if they're the only ones that have licensing for it, has Netflix ever got it day and date from creation. Hulu, it's a 50-50 shot depending on what show or franchise you're into. For instance, I'm going to call them right now. When it comes to the world of Japanese cartoons, Boku no Hero and One Punch Man are almost day and date with Japan. Day and date with Japan. Who else is doing that? Crunchyroll, yes, but Crunchyroll, as many of you know, sometimes it'll take them a while to get in the high resolution version, as well as when their dubs translations are terrible. And I don't mean they're not explaining things. I mean, like, there will be literal typos, like a 3-year-old wrote it. They never go in and fix them. And if they do fix them, you got to get on Blu-ray or something, which is kind of sad to think about.
Or there's a whole missing sentence.
Yeah, that too. They're not trying to clean up their own shit, but they still want your money. And the reason I say Hulu is simply because even though you can look at ads for a little bit extra, you can get on the service without looking at them. If they have something in 4K or 1080, it automatically will give you that in its maximum output based on what screen it's displaying on. But it annoys me to no end that you can't go in and change it at will unless you're like on a PC. So when you're on a television, if you want to watch the 1080 version because the 4K version, well, there's a scene or a part that your internet can't handle or something because, you know, it gives you that randomly drop to 480 with jaggies and shit like that. It's just going to stay that way. Period. It's going to stay that way. I love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Even if Miles Morales was not the main character, I would love that movie. Technically, I don't really think he is. I think Spider-Men are just the main characters and Spider-Women. But almost every fight scene with that weird energy goop that looks like 90s special effect graphics from comic books, shit goes down to 720 or less. Now, I know that doesn't seem like much, but here's the thing. I got a 4K Netflix account. So it genuinely looks like ass to me. And I'm strongly considering going down to a 1080 account and just having my television scale up. For one thing, there's barely anything in 4K on Netflix. And two, even though we all heard, and I think we talked about it almost 2 years ago on the podcast, Netflix and Hulu were both bottlenecking their bandwidth levels and shit for people. No one ever came out and said, oh, we stopped doing it. We just became aware of a problem. Doesn't mean we fixed it. We became aware of Flint, Michigan. Look how long it took to get fixed. Problem that shouldn't have even happened. But, you know, I'm not going to get started because I'll be fucking mad as fuck all night if I talk about the shit that happened in Flint. But, so basically, it's Hulu, but by a very slim margin. I also do not like the fact that Showtime and HBO, which I don't even think they have a presence on Netflix, Showtime and HBO are outliers, like they're somehow the shit. Don't get me wrong, if you got good shows, that's fine. But here you're saying, hey, you got good shows and you want people to pay more money exclusively, but then again, you also got your own independent pay-as-you-go subscription type plan. Why are you so special, Showtime? HBO has always been dependent, and I don't know who's running it, but they must have a couple billion in the bank because HBO has always been independent, and they've gotten some of the best stuff, not just with movie licensing, but with original content. But my problem is still the same. The internet streaming services are not built to work like that, why are you on there trying to be like that? But then why you also got an independent app on the side? Like, whose side are you on? But the fact that Hulu can get those extras, and if Disney Plus fails in any way, shape, or form, everything they have goes to Hulu. Or alternatively, since, you know, Disney owns a vast majority of Hulu, it's believed that there may be some overlap with Hulu stuff and a Disney subscription, or a Disney subscription rumored to link up with Hulu at a discount. I don't know. I'm not saying it's real, but I still find it just a tad bit annoying that Disney, you own a streaming service, but you go and make another streaming service just to put other stuff on there. Like, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck? Also, my Hulu is free. No comment on why. As far as topic 2, I'm going to just say, given the fact that this is America, 2 subscriptions is your limit. So you could have the bare bones Hulu, and you can have bare bones Netflix, or you could have premium Hulu and have HBO added or Showtime by itself. But it really needs to stop it there, because here's the thing. Nobody ever has 2 subscriptions. Remember, utility bills, for you true adults out there, they're technically a subscription. When you stop and think about it, utility bills are technically a subscription. Your car, you got 2 bills for that one right there. Maintenance, which is going to come up. It's inevitable. And also, you got insurance for that vehicle. Then you got your actual insurance, which may include homeowners insurance or medical insurance. Then you got gas, power, and water, depending on where you live. So that's 8 subscriptions right there before we factor in internet, which is 9. I say cut your shit at 2. Now, if you living in a very, very certain well-off area, or you ain't paying for shit damn near, hey, you go ahead and get as many as you want. And then feel stupid when you realize, oh shit, I got 5 subscriptions, but I only look at 2 a month. I'm wasting damn near $100 and shit. You know, when the year's out, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I feel. No one should have more than 2. When it comes to digital versus physical, I still wrestle with that. Before this podcast, at this point in time, I'm going to say physical. But, you know, with pre-order and pay before it comes out shit at your local store or Amazon, if they even sell comics on Amazon directly from the distributors and shit. For one simple reason. If you're on a subscription, some companies, and they try to hide that they do this, even if you bought something, they won't let you and you downloaded it, they won't let you look at it if you're not paying them their monthly. So even though you're done with it and they said that you can look at it offline, they still come up and set a timer on it. There's all types of ways they check shit, because remember, even though you take it offline, it doesn't mean you're not going to get online at any point in time in the future, you know? And also with physical, well, say you don't want it in the future, you might be able to chuck it as an entire set for some money if you're lucky enough to get that 1 comic or 2 comics every year that magically increases in value for whatever reason. Personally, I'm more of a volume guy. When I read a story, I want to read it from beginning to end, for the simple fact that I hate when I'm reading a good story. It's like $2, $3, and then I forget when the next issue comes out, or the next issue's date of release changes, and I don't find out till I call the store or till I go in the store, and then they don't know the next day, and they don't do call list. They only do call lists when you've pre-purchased something for pickup. But not all stores do that. Also, if you want to be on time as quickly as possible, not because you're trying to impress nobody, but for the simple fact that you want to know what happens in your favorite story at the second that it happens, you're going to need to go physical. Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to, but also when it comes to comic books, if you're overseas or you know that you're planning trips abroad, I completely flip my opinion into the digital sector. And I'm gonna tell you why. Well, for lack of a better term, if you try to find a comic overseas in your language, you might not get that lucky, depending on where you're at. And on top of that, fucking remember, there's also independent stuff or stuff that happens in relation to series that didn't start off as comics. For instance, Avatar: The Last Airbender has a comic book, and people love it. For me, the art style seems a little bit too bright, and and I mean that in the literal sense, like someone turned the contrast button up a few too many times. But other than that, since it's written by the same people that made Last Airbender, I ain't got no problem with it. Story's decent. Also, those may not even be released. Independents aren't always released as well internationally as you might think. Distribution is a very, very small world, but it affects the very, very big planet. Some of the biggest distributors literally in the world you have never heard of. And I'm not saying that as a joke. They just don't have commercials. They don't advertise. You have to find them basically by Googling them or knowing somebody who already has a distributor and is nice enough to tell you. Who here knows who Ingram is? Exactly. No, I didn't say Instagram. I said Ingram.
Yeah, I know. I heard Ingram.
Exactly my point. Now, if you try to Google them, Ingram Distributor, you'll learn that they're literally one of the biggest in the whole damn planet. $300 a month to use their service, though. Goddamn. You better be rolling in the dough. All right. So, where was I? Topic 3. Oh, wait, I'm on 4. Okay. As far as topic 4 is concerned, I'm going to say it's no right now, but it's an eventual yes in the future. And there's a very, very specific reason why it's a yes in the future. If you stop and think about it, old people die. The video game the video game world isn't as good as throwing their money to corrupt politicians as many others would assume or think or believe. And even if they did, it might actually not get accepted, given where, hopefully, our future is going with American politics. So, let's think about this for a second. The panel that was talking to the video game industry about gambling mechanics, and also the senator down in Hawaii who was organizing that, he plays video games. He just didn't play a lot of new and recent stuff. That's why he understands the microtransaction gambling and knows what it is. Who's to say we won't get 5 or 10 or hell 100 more people like him who end up in politics at some point in time? Some people may even use this as a way to manipulate people into voting for them, even if they're a douchebag, or they could be completely genuine. So that means that their days are numbered. Not to mention, if the government requested their actual data and numbers for what they're doing and how much they're getting off of this gambling, oh, they're in trouble. Because that stuff is supposed to be taxed completely differently. They got lucky the few times they've been messing around now for the simple fact that, well, for lack of a better term, people who refuse to get educated on the subject get educated on the subject. When we talk about science and they do presentations to the government, scientists explain their shit. When we talk about people who want to create a new law on the state or the federal level, they have to explain in detail what that law is and what it's going to be about. But these video game people come in and said, and I'm paraphrasing, hey, we heard you guys are doing bad stuff and we want to know why you're doing bad stuff. We're not doing bad stuff. Nuh-uh. Oh, you want us to do something different? Oh, we'll just do it because you tell us without making any type of law or regulating body. And I'm just sitting up here like, every single video gamer in this whole planet, I don't care if they're a 5-year-old, can tell that you guys are either A, in their pocket, or B, you looking stupid at how easy it is to manipulate you. Let's think about that for a second. Electronic Arts goes to Congress, what is it, 3 times now in the past 5 years about their shit? And they say the exact same thing, except they try to label it different names like surprise mechanics. I'm still not off that. That is hilarious and also just blatantly ignorant. And just, oh my God, surprise mechanics. But yeah, I'm not going to get too far into it. They call it surprise mechanics. Surprise mechanics doesn't mean that you're not making gambling features in your fucking games. And then when it was over, Congress didn't do or say anything or even fact check them. They could have brought a TV in with a game system, pressed a bunch of buttons and told them, show me where the gambling, where the stuff people claim is gambling is at in this game. And they would have seen it works exactly the same fucking way. They're so strict on gambling, not real, I'm sorry, let me phrase that. They're so strict on physical gambling that, did you know a lot of casinos, if you win at a slot machine, they give you a receipt to give to the front desk instead of actually giving you the coins when they come out of the machine? They started doing that now in Vegas. The gambling industry is basically treated almost like the tobacco industry. You ain't supposed to be here. You know you're not supposed to be here. Everything you do is just a manipulation tactic to get to the next day, next year, or next fiscal year. And it need to stop. I think we have the power. The problem is we don't have that power being directed in the right way and being led by the right politicians. So yeah, that's how I feel. I know that sounds cryptic, but at this point, everyone in this podcast knows that at least one question I'm going to say is going to be ambivalent or cryptic or right down the middle, sadly. All right. Well, that was short. You want to talk about some game shit? Up to you, Hill.
Gigamaxing and actually having 2 different gym leaders for 2 different games.
Gigamax. That's that shit where they grow their size, right?
No. See, Gigamax is not only do they grow more, they also transform more. Like the whipped cream Pokemon that they introduced, they can like Dynamax, which is the normal form change, but then it can Gigamax, makes it even larger and has a different. It looks like a giant cake.
Oh, okay.
Looks like a fucking.
And yeah, I am curious, are you new Pokemon fans or old school Pokemon fans actually going to buy that new shit? They literally came out and said, hey, guess what? We're not putting in all the stuff that we made beforehand because we don't feel like we have enough time. I'm like, bitch, you're Nintendo. All you have to do is wait until you do have enough time. Because now, in my head, I'm thinking they going to make every Pokemon that should have been there that already existed DLC. They're going to start doing DLC packs. That's what I feel like. Oh, you want fire Pokemon that isn't there? Well, guess what? You can buy all the fire Pokemon that we forgot to put in a bundle. And then next week is water, steel, all those other types, yada, yada, yada. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do that, but that's what I'm thinking in my head. On paper, from what I read, they said that their excuse is we didn't have enough time to develop them all. Like, yes, you did. You're not Nintendo. You're not owned by Nintendo technically, and people don't remember that or have even learned that. Game Freak is not owned by Nintendo. Nintendo owns a part of it, but they refuse to sell themselves completely to Nintendo. I'm just thinking they're either going to make them individual DLCs, which would be messed up, or they're going to have a DLC where you're allowed to bring Pokemon from your bank and make you pay for it, or they're going to put some type of paywall up. And that bothers the hell out of me because there was literally no excuse why they couldn't release this when they want to. Nintendo is a privately traded company. That means that they can tell a shareholder without any fear of ramifications, and if they do, hey, fuck you, go away. That, hey, we need more time to make this game good. They've always done that. They even made an announcement that they started Metroid over from scratch. You remember that? They literally put on their own YouTube, sorry for the inconvenience, we're starting this game over from scratch. And I'm just sitting up here thinking to myself, yo, that takes some balls. It really does. Because if a company starts a game over from scratch, they probably won't tell you until the game's already out. But to be fair, I haven't had catch 'em all fever since like 1999. So I'm Gucci. Maybe 2000, but either way, I'm Gucci. So that aside, fucking, as far as me, I don't know about you. You know, I won't drag this too much out long because these aren't topics. This is just us talking. Yeah, I'm starting to think, and I know I'm probably wrong, but I'm starting to think the age of offline co-op actually being implemented into games is coming back a little bit. I looked up like maybe half the games I have any interest in for the rest of this year. Dude, almost all of them have offline co-op built into them. Yes, there's online, but the fact that offline is even being acknowledged is what makes me happy. Like, I don't know Astro Chain in particular, but I think that they did say there would be an offline co-op. And there's an ambulance that's going to pass me soon. So, yeah, give me a second. Okay, and it's going. But I'm actually digging that. You know, I don't understand why fighting games are the only people that had offline co-op. Like, first and foremost, I think even the idiots who run these big companies that destroy people's lives and abuse their own employees, they should be going up to them and saying, hey, we can have offline co-op and online co-op. You don't get more money by forcing people to go into online co-op. They'll just either A, not pay for the game, or B, buy the game, not play any of the online cooperative features, and when they want to play online, go play a different game. Or they'll only pay for online temporarily to play online co-op, and then they're going to stop at some point. They're not going to play that shit indefinitely. Yes, there are fun games that people play that are primarily online. I'm not going to deny that. However, that's not everyone, and it will never be everyone. Whether it's ego or introvertism, there will always be reasons people don't always play or want to play with somebody online. You know me, Hill. Like, I'll play with online with anybody as long as the shit's cooperative. When it comes to a fighting game, I prefer it be offline just because I don't like dealing with random lag. Because no matter what those server pings say, shit can change in the middle of a match. You know? And then what if they're actually manually controlling their delays? You can do that now. It's against the terms of service, but hey, people have been that technology has been around for close to a decade now. It's been refined at this point. The only reason I play Tekken online is because there are better challenges in ranked mode than there is in free match. Because if I play a game, even if it's free, and I can't get a challenge within the first, I want to say 48 hours, I kind of don't want to play it. And by kind of, I mean I fucking won't. Anyways, hey, what you looking forward to for the rest of the summer or, you know, later in the year? Can you hear me?
Right. Yeah. Right now, just waiting for the next big patch to come to Warframe because they just dropped another trailer for it like they did for Fortuna. It wasn't so like upbeat, but it was just like more story progression as to what happened with the Lotus and why she went with the fucking sentient fuckers and just left us behind. So I'm really excited for about that, and I can really get back into grinding and building warframes again because they like released 3 new warframes when I stopped playing, and then when the only reason I stopped playing is people I played with haven't stopped playing. Also, I just kind of got bored of only going off Fortuna and then saving a base, doing the same things I did on Plains of Eidolon. Like literally, if Fortuna was released before Eidolon, I would have played more Fortuna better because it just feels so much better because traveling doesn't take forever because they give you a hoverboard. Fishing is funner. You can actually hunt better for everything. So it just feels like it's a better experience, but the previous expansion felt overplayed, so it didn't really cling to me that much. Also, the game also really put me back because everything is behind, like, what your fucking tenor rank is, and they make it stupid hard to raise your tenor rank because you gotta max out every weapon and warframe you have, then sell the ones you don't want, buy new ones, and then just keep repeating that cycle. So I'm just like, there are other aspects about the game that kind of burnt me out, but with this new thing, I can just like not focus on that and just focus on story progression. So I'm just waiting for them to hurry up and add Railjack and all their new story shit they showed last year.
Nice. I will say one thing. If there's one thing you can respect about Warframe, it's actually made by gamers for gamers, not directed by a gamer who doesn't care about his consumers as long as he makes his overlords happy that sign his giant checks that only he gets and none of the people on the bottom end. But that aside, fucking, I think really for me, I'm just waiting on Fire Emblem because the way the game is laid out, it's not so much, you get 3 different story paths because that shit's getting old and annoying. It's not Pokemon, it's Fire Emblem, damn it. But it's because it really only changes very small story elements that you could easily look up on YouTube. So you could actually pick a house. I think there's the option of picking a house and picking no house. I would stick with picking no house in my first playthrough and then a house in my second. You know, that type of deal. If depending on how it's set up. There are some people who already have the game. They've been logging mad time in it. But basically, there's a time skip. But the time skip is almost at the halfway point of the game or near the end. So it's not as drastic or important as it's been in past games, which don't so much have a time skip. They just have certain characters that only show up because of a time skip. And that's pretty much it. As far as right now, though, I mean, I think I might go back to Phantasy Star Online 2. I didn't hate it. I didn't get bored of it. They've been adding new content because it's an anniversary season, as I like to call them. They come but once a year. And even though they're celebrating their anniversary, you know, this may be the last time I play with my homies on the Japanese servers because, you know, next year it's coming to every system in English, finally. And there's no guarantee from what I've seen that everything's going to roll over. They're saying that the American servers are going to be linked with the exception of Sony. So PC, Xbone, and Switch are all going to play together. Right? But that doesn't tell me...
Hold on. Run that back to me again. Phantasy Star's coming to the Switch?
Nigga, we already had this conversation. It was at E3. It was a big-ass announcement. The Japanese Switch version is now coming to America. It's been on Switch forever. I have it on my Switch, but it's streamed instead of downloaded. So that means that if you're not near Japan, you need to have a stupid strong Wi-Fi connection to even get more than 1 bar. In fact, if you play the game on Switch, if you beat 1 mission, they give you Link's entire outfit and his sword and shield from Breath of the Wild as a weapon. Camo. So that means you can put it on anything. It's not new, bro. You can totally Google it. No bullshit.
But I think it was going to come to the Switch to America so soon, though.
No one... Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it soon. See, you barely been here, but the game is almost 6 years old. They were supposed to bring it a long time ago. They even had an English website, but it never fucking came. Then Microsoft stepped in, or either Supposedly, Microsoft stepped in to throw their weight in behind their internet infrastructure, and there's some way that Microsoft is getting money off of every single version of the game, even though it's on competing platforms, just because they helped create the internet infrastructure or the server infrastructure for the game. However, I can't verify that claim, but it's coming on everything. But the question is there a rollover, or do the accounts interact? Because if they interact, I will take my character to an American block and I'll play my Japanese character. Because they're starting the game at season 5. So that means Hero is going to be readily available from the start. They're not taking baby steps, thank God. Definitely going to get not Chaos Legion 2 Astral Chain. Just because, Platinum Games and, not making a shitty license game sounds fun to me. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, with that being said, this tiny episode of Token Games Podcast has come to a conclusion. Any last words, Hill?
I can't wait to blow past all these fools who think, oh, I can play Fantasy Star. No, you can't. Watch you fucking work, boy.
My favorite part is watching them hoes try to unlock expert mode. They just made it like 2-3 times harder than it used to be. Okay, with that being said, I will see you guys when I see you guys.